and I'd fall behind a little bit and he'd hit me, knock me down. And I knew when I got to the other side of that field what was going to happen. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm about to die. I'm for real.
Hi everyone, this is Pamela, and for the ones who don't know me, I am from Venezuela. I am 32 years old. And today's video is really important for me because it is about the consequences of staying in an abusive relationship. And I know this is not the first time you actually, see or watch a video that talks about this. But to me, it's so important just to address this as much as anybody can, because the consequences tend to be really harmful for you. Not only because of the danger that represents on staying in a relationship that it's basically unhealthy, but in your own health, in your body. Okay, and sometimes I'm going to be kind of reading because I don't want to miss any of the things that I want to share with you when it comes to this topic. So I would like to start with saying that you develop, of course, a post-traumatic stress by staying in an abusive relationship. I would like to, emphasize that when you are in a relationship with someone who is always neglecting you, is gaslighting you, is just saying any negative thing that come up to their mind to you, you start believing those things. And somehow you know that this is completely wrong. And because of that, you start developing a lot of problems or issues for having relationship with others, even from friendship, even from your own family. And the victim of a person who decides to stay in a relationship start preferring to be even away from their own family members because they feel embarrassed of the decision they made, and they feel embarrassed for the person they have become and how they feel, with a lack of trust of even recognizing who is good or bad for them. So that's one of the negative things you can have in your life by staying in some place where you're not being loved. You're going to start believing the negative things this person is saying and even doing to you, and you're going to get used to that. And that's why you see that many of the victims that do not take the time to even heal, they repeat the pattern by dating with other guys who become even worse abusers. So this is one of the consequences, the one that I'm saying, that you develop a lot of trust issues. And I'm not talking about the trust issues on others, but even in yourself, because you're not able to believe that you have or you can make really good choices. So number 2 consequence that is related to staying in an abusive relationship is that you start developing dissociation. And this is when you start maybe just getting into your mind for so long because you cannot cope with the reality. And this is so related to the fact that you start abusing from drugs and even alcohol. So you can escape from whatever you're living in that moment. So of course, when you start doing these kind of things, or you become dependent into a kind of narcotic or whatever other thing that is really dangerous for you, what do you think is going to happen? So it's just a thing for you to take into account. If you're staying beside someone who is not actually respecting you, it's not valuing you, don't expect that that's going to end up okay. And I know that maybe many people have said this to you before, but it's something that I wanted just to share for you to remember. It is not a good choice. You have to run from that place. So the next one that you develop is the Stockholm syndrome. And I think that many of you already know what I'm talking about when I'm referring about this syndrome. And it is when you start developing the empathy towards the abuser. And you feel sorry about what can happen to that person, even if they get in jail for what they are doing to you, in case they are very violent. And even if they abuse you psychologically, you feel bad for them because you just don't want them to feel, or live the consequences of whatever they are doing. And sadly, when you develop that, it's even harder for you to leave. And that's why it is so important that whenever you feel that you have the strength, or you feel that maybe you're in a situation when the person is telling you, like, get out of here, like, try to, take advantage of that and leave. Because the more you stay, the worse it's going to be. And then you're going to feel attached towards someone that is actually, abusing you. And, when it comes to the physical impact, then you just start developing a lot of diseases that are related to, the emotional, abuse or the stress that maybe you're going through. And, at the moment you just live with someone who is always putting you down, you feel that you're worth nothing, and every time that person is close to you, or maybe that that person is coming to your house, you feel a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and in the long run, you realize that that can actually become into a chronic disease like diabetes, blood pressure, and all of these other diseases that are related to the emotional, wounds. And many people do not know the power of being, at ease and being in peace with yourself. And as long as you don't know that, you're going to be accepting and tolerating things that at the end of the day, maybe they can lead you to, to die, to even look worse, to even, lose your own health, just because you are being tolerant into things that you should not even accept. That's why, we need to develop a lot of boundaries. So we can avoid situations that we also cause by staying. And that's one of the consequences as well, like the physical consequences of staying in a relationship where it is really toxic. And the last one that I would like to address, or the last thing, that I would like to address is that sometimes most of the victims, they belong to religious group, what I will say like that. And I'm sorry, but I know that many people who are very religious can feel triggered about what I'm going to say. But this situation about the abuse sometimes is not being taken seriously from the part of the victim. And they encourage the victim to remain with the person who is being controlling, who is being the bad person. And, that's even worse. Because, most of these abusers, they know how to manipulate people, and people, who doesn't live with them think that they are actually nice people. And at the moment the victim make an accusation, these people won't believe what they're saying. So the suggestion or the advice they actually receive from, the group of in the religion they believe, or the religious group they belong to, that's what I wanted to mean. They put you to be with the person because they need to remain in the marriage, or he's not or she's not a bad person, or etc., etc. And this is something that I recommend, and it's better to treat or to talk with someone who is a professional, who can identify and even believe whatever you're saying. And the religious group, or maybe the leaders of the religious churches or whatever, are not sometimes the best one for you to get out of those situations. So that's something I wanted to clarify. So recalling a little bit of what I wanted to share today, staying in an abusive relationship is not going to do anything good to you. And you even realize that if you see, because I always recommend for people just to see, or watch, a survivor, statement or a story of a survivor, because you will see the difference. And sometimes when they show the pictures when they were in the abusive relationship, you can see that they were a completely miserable person, that you can see in their face, their skin, and you can lose a lot of weight, you can even gain a lot of weight, you can stop sleeping and even enjoying life, and you feel miserable. And at the moment you just get out of there, and I know that we can sometimes feel fear by being by ourselves, not having male attentions when it comes to women or other things. We feel like we're not going to be loved because we don't deserve the love. Those are the things that the abuser wants you to believe for you to stay there. Do not give them a chance of having the power over you. You can be loved, you can be happy without them, and especially you can be happy on your own. You can do so many things by being single, by enjoying with your family, for the people who actually love you. That's the thing you need to give the importance of the priority. And that's why, please do not stay in those type of relationships that maybe it's going to kill you. So I hope you like this video. If you found it really useful, I hope you can subscribe, so I will keep making this material for you. And as I always say, I do it with all of my love. And well, see you the next time. Bye bye.